income. The Act states that every individual with chargeable income must account for provisional income tax by the end of the 3rd month of the year of income, which of course is the 30th day of September. The default year of income there coming at on 30th of June. Well, pretty confusing sometimes, especially if you are not initiated in matters tax. We are now joined by Michael Masembe, Acting Manager Tax Education at Uganda Revenue Authority, to help us understand and make our way around these very troubled waters of taxes. A very warm welcome to the program, Mr. Masembe.
Thank you, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Are we good on tax?
We are.
NTV is good?
Everything is good.
All right.
Yes.
There I can speak confidently.
Very well.
So what is income tax? Who qualifies to pay income tax? And what are the sources of, well, income tax when it comes to the various, arenas, especially when it comes to getting a bit of revenue here and there?
Here and there. Thank you. Income tax is what you pay of what you earn. So there must be an income in the first place.
That's right.
There must be an income. So when you find scenarios where someone is telling you, I am asked to pay this, but actually I'm in a loss position. That's right. Then you must raise questions. So there must be income in the first place. Now, where we go to, because you need to know, okay, if it is income, what kind of income? That's right. So you could be in anything that generates income. It could be agriculture. You could be in trade. You could be in manufacturing. You could be in agribusiness, so to say. You could be in tourism. You could be in any form. It could be security services. It could be any form of service, telecom. And if you make a profit, whether individual or not, but like you introduced, let's look at the individuals. If you show you made an income and you made a profit, for the individual, if we're looking at profit, it is 2,820,000. That's close to 3 million, but 2.82 million. For an individual, yes, to qualify, yes, to be taxed on that particular premise, yes, they should make at least 2,820,000. 2,820,000. Yes, that's in a year. That is what they should divulge, that, yes, information. Yes. Okay. So now, but even if it's less, you're required to show. Okay, yes. Okay. I was just coming to the question. Yes. For example, if somebody has actually made money but, yes, not made profit, it's possible. Very well. Yeah. Yes. How does that play out? He has to present these statements, yes, that yes, we made money but we didn't make a profit, so we can't pay, or we are not obligated to come forth with income tax. Actually, it helps you a lot if you look at the troubled times for businesses now. That's right. And you're making losses, but then you don't show to the taxman. You do not declare to the taxman that you're making losses of possibly 10 million, 100 million right now. Your declaration right now is your cash on next year. Okay. Because you'll be able to offset the loss that you declared this year within the next year. That I have made, this new year, I have made a profit of 20 million. But wait a bit. Last year I showed you that I made a loss of 5 million. So if you're to tax me, you're going to tax me of the 15 million. So you have to make that declaration to the URA, to the taxman, across our website. So fundamentally, yes, to be able to be a good taxpayer, especially on income tax, yes, is dependent on the ability of any business or an individual to present and maintain statements of income. Very, very much. The one who doesn't have those, yes, is liable to, what kind of penalties are there? There are penalties, but in the first place, it is when you introduce unfairness to yourself as a taxpayer. Okay. Because if you do not make this declaration, then you're passing the baton to URA to make the assessment for you. All right. So those are the scenarios where you hear people say, the URA officials came to my shop and they gave me an assessment. Okay. The assessment is given to you in the scenarios where you have not taken the initiative to file your declaration and show you are because you best understand your business. That's Nobody understands your operation better than you. So you need to make the declaration, show to URA, this is how I performed. You see I made these many imports, you see I made these many purchases, but wait a bit. Okay. I had these expenses, I had no sales made, or my items expired within the shelves, I didn't make any sales. And if you don't make that declaration, the taxman won't know. I will expect that you made profits, and I will make an assessment to you in comparison to what your industry, average industry players are declaring, if you've not made your own declaration.
Okay.
Yes.
According to your explanation, what I see is that income tax is very much a premise for the well-established. The mom and pop shops, the average kiosk, a shop in the neighborhood, how does that play out? Are they also paying income tax?
Yes, there are variations in income tax. There are many variations.
All right.
And there are segregations.
Just take us through that.
Yes. There are variations like I would show you for we are talking about individuals now.
That's right.
Majority of the rented properties in Uganda are owned by individual persons. And there is that rental income tax that landlords are supposed to pay if still they earn 2,820,000 from such property.
That's right.
And we don't mean, you know, you talk to well-established, and one is going to think.
I did so because I had the word imports.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But then look at a scenario where you have a rented space. It's rented space where you have a piece of land. Maybe it's on a properly situated hill, and these must set up farms and have set up a mast in that space, so it's rented. Okay, you have spaces within Kampala that have been rented to establish garages and carpentry workshops and so on and so forth. All those are rented properties, and the owners who earn from the tenants are supposed to declare rental income tax. Okay, and then we have a scenario of our SME category, small business taxpayers, who will not go into the long mile of profit, loss, income statement, balance sheet. They do not have that, maybe that
how do you corner those ones?
Yes.
Or how do you help them? Cornering them is a little bit harsh. How do you help them?
Assistance, yes, thank you. Now, starting with the policy regime, there is assistance in there. The regime presented the presumptive tax type, where if someone cannot compute their tax going by the profit, because you know there is depreciation, there are allowables, there are deductions, there are add-backs.
That's right.
The jargon is a bit complicated, like you indicated in the beginning. So you tell this person, what are your sales in a day? That's the question. What are your sales in the day? And
you're hoping they'll be honest.
Of course, that's the expectation. Okay, we expect, it's a self-assessment regime. We expect you to be a person that will declare the correct amount. And remember, if you don't declare the correct amount, if you do not declare the correct amount, there are penalties. A penalty for misdeclaration changed this year from 4 million to 100 million, 104 million.
104 million.
Yes, to 110.
Okay.
You get it? So the penalty.
And now that it doesn't, if somebody is penalized 110 million Uganda shillings, when their average profit, for example, on which they are supposed to pay income tax, is as meager as 7 million.
Exactly.
Okay. Isn't that a bit unfair?
No, regardless, within the very tax regime, there are mechanisms to reverse and apply for reverse of those penalties. You get it? It is not cast in stone. If you present your case that this misdeclaration was not intentional, it can be reversed. Okay, there are procedures to object to such assessments where you find it to be a bit outrageous.
Isn't that a little bit of a misnomer? For example, if you have assessed Chris Higenyi and you've dealt a penalty of 80, all right, let's say 100 million, like you say, and then I'm unable or not in position to go and seek a reassessment or even to petition that particular decision, how can I be helped? Okay,
first, the mechanism is available on the URA portal, or you can visit a URA office.
SMEs are not online.
Yes, you can visit any URA office. We have over 15 offices in every region of Uganda.
Okay.
You get it? So you can visit any of our offices and you get a redress for such a scenario. But the point is, it is to prohibit. You get it? Because we have had scenarios where someone misdeclaring finds it cheaper even to pay the small penalty of 4 million. Some people have, you get it?
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for them to pay 4 million. And so they say, if you get me, I'll pay this small penalty and I get away with it. And so that is why there has been a lot of enhancement in those on the penalty side.
Yeah.
But for small businesses, like I was explaining, if your sales are below 10 million sales in a year, there is no tax to pay. There is no income tax.
There is no,
You get it? But if your sales are above 10 million, 10 to 30 million, if you don't keep records, you pay 80,000.
All right.
Okay, 30 to 50 million, if you don't keep records, you pay 200,000 in a year. So it's been set within bands that make it easy for you. All I ask is, how much do you make as sales in a year?
Okay, keeping with bands that make it easy for SMEs and any other business individual out there to pay income tax. The installment payment. For example, if my income tax for a particular year has been set at 50 million, but I may not readily have that cash, can I pay in installments for that particular year?
Yes, indeed. And that is the preset of the entire the tax as it is paid. So we talked about that guy who is having sales of 50 million.
That's right.
Okay. Now, if he is a small business taxpayer, he doesn't keep records, we say he's going to pay 200,000 in a year. Okay. So 200,000 is broken into 4 quarters. So every 3 months, from June, July, August, okay, we have, we have July, August, September. So by September, you file what we call a provisional return. Okay. To indicate to URA what you estimate to be your total turnover by the end of the year. So the tax payable is 200,000, but we tell you pay a part of that, which is 50,000.
Okay, no doubt about that. This next question is perhaps information you will not readily divulge, but right now where we stand in terms of clearing and the delays that are involved, the URA has its own constraints that many traders have continuously spoken about, and the inability to quickly be able to transact and pay and then go about doing their other business. There are efforts, of course, to bring this online and then have them do it on their phones or on PCs, but it's still cumbersome.
Yes.
How far are we in terms of simplifying tax collection and revenue, being able to get the kind of revenue that the nation wants to be able to move forward?
You would look at for example, for people in international trade, the non-intrusive inspection facility that we've introduced to most of our major border posts. That the process of us having to ask you to open a container comes when we've had really good reason. But ideally, right now, non-intrusive inspection enables you to clear your items through faster than it was before. Look at the establishment of the electronic single window facility, where one engages with the URA, with the National Standards Body, with the Ministry of Agriculture, and all these other regulators on our one-stop border posts at once, and that process is seamless. Look at the authorized economic operators. People we have dealt with over the years, and we have confirmed that what they have been declaring is watertight. I mean, we've not had any non-compliance from them, and we are sure what they declare is actually what they are. So we've given these persons, and we have enrolled them into the authorized economic operator facility, where they come and clear their way through. If there is any check to be made by URA, it can even be made at their premises. So this facility is there, but it is a very serious and rigorous audit that we go through to check you and confirm that you're really diligent and you have done your declaration in the past very well without any.
All right, what is good ratings with URA in terms of the benefits of tax compliance, and if somebody is really consistent, what can we see without necessarily having to ask that they're actually getting the benefits? For example, government agency tenders and the ability to be able to provide these services. Does URA provide some sort of a list to government that, hey, here we are, these guys are doing good, they are really well consistent, yes, so they can benefit.
Yes. One of the things that we provide as a facility still is the tax clearance certificate. You see, to get any business from any government body, you need to show that you are diligent with your tax matters, and that tax clearance certificate, we issue to you when you apply for it, and we address it to that respective person.
Why does somebody have to apply if they are consistent? URA must be able to simply say, hello, Mr. Chris Higenyi, we think you are consistent enough for the last 2 years.
Yes.
Can you please pick, or can we deliver your certificate?
Possibly,
do I have to apply?
It's an improvement that we can make.
Yeah.
But in most of the procurement bodies, they need this addressed to them.
Okay.
You get it? You will talk to most of the business players. They will tell you if you want to take a tender in a Uganda Wildlife Authority, they will need you to write to the manager procurement, Uganda Wildlife Authority. Now, we cannot write an open recommendation.
I know.
Because you need it to speak about you in your own right.
Okay.
Then the other is, you see, withholding tax. We collect withholding tax because at times government needs taxes in the immediate.
That's right.
But then at times the person from whom withholding tax is being collected, there is no assurance that at the end of the year they will be able to come and pay. But then we've had people who have paid their taxes, like you said, year in, year out. And so one of the other facilities that we give is the withholding tax exemption. Yeah. So we exempt you from these taxes being collected from you, such that you can replow them instead of them being paid in advance to URA at the start of the year. You can keep that money that would have been remitted to URA as taxes, such that at the end of the year anyway, you have been paying, and we hope you will pay. So the person who is paying you doesn't have to withhold this.
Okay.
Yes. So
Michael Masembe, many thanks. Acting Manager Tax Education at Uganda Revenue Authority. They are giving us perspective and helping us wade through the tax troubled waters. I hope you've understood a thing and shall be able to benefit when it comes to payment of income tax and, of course, making sure your tax obligations are met promptly. I'm Chris Higenyi. Kickstarter discussion is up next. We know that learners across the country are going for their third term. It's a bit of a stress, no doubt, but Philbert Baguma, the Secretary General of the Uganda National Teachers Union, will help us understand what can be done to ensure everything is good. Stay with us.